Hey gang, Sunny and I are back again for another awesome superhero flick. This week, we're heading to Japan for the first of four adventures of Starman. Okay, technically this was a Japanese TV show called Supergiant. Why he was called Supergiant, I don't know, because he's not really a giant. Starman I kind of get because he's from outer space. But basically, there were 9 episodes of a TV show. And, excuse me, sorry, I had to sneeze. There were 9 episodes of a TV show, Supergiant. And Walter Manley Enterprises bought the U.S. distribution rights to them, edited them into 4 movies. Atomic Rulers, Attack from Outer Space, Invaders from Outer Space, and Evil Brain from Outer Space. We're going to look at Atomic Rulers, which was, I believe, the first one. And it was also an anomaly because it dealt with a gang of a supervillain and his gang, as opposed to the other 3, which dealt with aliens invading Earth. The film, they all start out the same way, where we go to the Emerald Planet, where in this one, the atomic testing is getting to be a little worrisome for the Emerald Planet, because if Earth blows up too many bombs and permeates their atmosphere, the radiation could spread to their planet. So they decide to come up with a solution. They build Starman.
In order to save Earth from the attacks of the Megolians, they must once more present the globe meter to one of their fellow creatures and send him to Earth. He is the creature made of the strongest steel.
What's a globe meter? Glad you asked.
The scientists of the Emerald Planet have invented one of the most ingenious mechanisms the universe has ever seen. Called a globe meter, it is carried on the wrist. It enables its wearer to do 3 things: to fly through space, to detect radioactivity, and to speak and understand every language on the planet Earth.
Well, now that we have that out of the way, Starman heads to Earth, where his globe meter detects high amounts of radiation from an airplane. He also notices the airplane is in distress.
Once again, Starman receives a warning from his globe meter that a nuclear device is somewhere nearby.
Gotta love how he just nonchalantly walks onto the plane. No one notices he came from outside. Anyway, once the plane lands in Tokyo, Starman follows the 2 Mongolian spies and takes the direct route of jumping into their car with them and demanding the briefcase that contains the atomic energy. Well, being they're bad guys, they take him to a deserted area to get rid of him, and that doesn't prove to be too easy. Yes, it seems that there were some orphans viewing the fight, and they swiped the briefcase and one of the guns. Starman follows them to the orphanage. One of the boys tripped and got grabbed by the two spies. Meanwhile, Starman catches up with the kids, explains he's a good guy, and they give him the briefcase and the gun. He makes the gun inoperable before leaving. And then when one of the orphan's sister, who is dating a policeman, stops by with him, they show the gun to the policeman.
Oh, this gun is real.
But children, you must have been in danger. You might have been hurt.
Sister, tell me, did you see it done?
Yes, I saw the man bend it. I imagined that it was nothing more than a toy gun.
Just think. Whoever did this had the strength of steel.
That's quite a conclusion. Someone that can bend a gun must be made of steel. Sure, he's a regular Sherlock Holmes. Don't get too impressed with him. He's pretty useless throughout this film. Anyway, realizing their friend is missing, the kids all run back to where the fight happened, where they guessed rightly that Starman was there. They tell him about their missing friend. Realizing the Mongolians must have grabbed him, he returns to the orphanage to give the bag of material, well, it's actually a detonation device, to the sister to keep for him. And he flies over to the Mongolian embassy, where, searching the dungeons, comes upon an old acquaintance.
They've ordered my execution. I don't deserve it. I made just one little mistake. I tried to be loyal to them, but now the gods are going to kill me. All right, it might not be too late. The child is being taken away by train.
A train? To where?
Somewhere in the vicinity of Kozu.
Kozu?
Fortunately, that's about all the information he can get, because the guards show up and shoot him. And Starman gets into one of several I shouldn't say horrendously, magnum opus type fights, because he's taken on tons of guys. Part of it was a sword fight with one, which I showed at the beginning of the video. But he mops the floor with them. Love that little double rotating flip he did there with those two guys. You ever saw him do that on Batman? Well, he quickly flies to the train, changing back into his snazzy little suit, and proceeds to rescue the kidnapped boy.
What is going up there? Oh, nothing to worry about. The gentleman's feeling ill.
That was a pretty slick move there. Unfortunately, he then learns that Hiroshi, the kidnapped boy, had told them that the atomic device was at the orphanage, because that's where he thought the kids took him. Unfortunately, it was there because of Starman. So he and Hiroshi fly back to the orphanage, only to find not only have they recovered their atomic device, they've also kidnapped the older sister of the one orphan. So, Starman goes back to the embassy, which has been cleared out, but manages to grab a couple of guys, forcing them to take him to their headquarters. Well, he gets tricked.
What's the matter? What happened?
Look over there.
Who did it?
Framed for murder, he's arrested. The police do not believe his ridiculous story of being from another planet and throw him in jail, where he effects one of those patented Superman-style escapes. Meanwhile, back at the orphanage, the kids spot one of the men from the earlier abduction and go tell the sister's boyfriend Nakamoto, the policeman, about it. And he gives them a message to take to the local precinct to get help. And he goes to check out what's going on at the orphanage. He's seen they get in a gunfight and he's wounded. Like I said, he's not a lot of help here. Meanwhile, again, Starman has spotted a Mongolian helicopter, and he follows it back to their hidden base. And he decides to go undercover.
Wait, what are you doing with that? Put it back on the table.
If you delay the completion of our weapon tonight, you'll be executed immediately.
Return that device. Put it back at once. I've never seen you here. Who are you? Starman is my name.
Stop him!
Boy, that's Starman. He's mopping the floor with people. Anyway, after beating them up, he flies away with the activation device, or the trigger. And back in Tokyo, the Mongolian embassy is having a big party with all the big wigs of Japan there. Police commissioner of Tokyo, head of the army, prime minister, you know, all those people. And the orphans sneak in, and they're caught. And they try to explain, well, the Mongolians are bad guys.
Wise, excuse me. Come.
Oh, it's our friend, the strong man.
My friends, the boy's words haven't been lies. You must believe him. The man disguised as their ambassador is really their leader. He has plotted to take over the earth. Unless he stops, he'll kill you all. Todd, you are the supreme leader of the Mongolians.
Well, it looks like Starman has the upper hand, considering he shows he has their trigger device, and they can't activate their bomb and hold Tokyo hostage. But their leader has an ace up his sleeve.
Oh, it's Noriko.
Starman must take that to our base. Be there in an hour or the girl will die. Nothing on earth shall stop us, I said. See that you get there. Bring it to the base.
Left with no choice, once the Mongolians have left, Starman prepares to return to their base and give them the device. But before he leaves, he tells Akamoto where it is located, so that they can get some gunships there, just in case things don't go right. Starman arrives at the base, where he gives the device back, and then the leader puts him and the girl in an inescapable doom trap.
Starman, you should never have interfered with us. But you did. It's a shame. Because you'll die. I'm going to throw this nuclear bomb in there with you.
Looking pretty dire. Even Starman's prodigious strength cannot force his way out of the trap they're in. So he comes up with a very risky plan. It works, and not only did it protect her from the explosion, but also the radiation. He apparently just absorbed it. Once she's revived, he leaves her somewhere safe and goes to take out the submarine they're planning to escape in. And then, as usual, Akamoto arrives after all the excitement's over to arrest the bad guys. Later, back at the orphanage, Starman gives the device to Akamoto, knowing he'll do the right thing with it. And then says his goodbyes and returns to the Emerald Planet until Earth needs him again. Which it will, because they made 3 other TV films. The Starman films played a lot in the Cleveland area. I saw, I think, just about all of them one time or another on Superhost's Mad Theater. And I loved them. As a kid, they were fun and exciting and campy. And, you know, great stuff for a kid. Special effects were a little iffy, but and it looks a little older than 1965. I mean, it looks like it was made in the 50s, but I don't know. As a kid, I didn't really notice bad special effects. I just accepted it all. It's one of the advantages of being an imaginative kid. You just bought it, and anything that didn't mesh up, my imagination would connect them. I really like the actor who plays Starman. He gives off a really good vibe, I guess you'd say. He's tough and stern with the bad guys, but he can be friendly. In fact, it's his kindness with the man in the dungeon that convinces the man to tell him where the child was and to turn against his captors, who had been his Confederates. And not a lot of characterization in it. It's a little too fast-paced for that. Although there is a section that drags where the kidnapped child escapes, and then we get a long chase before he's recaptured. And there is a funny bit where he hides in a barrel, and then it gets knocked, rolls down a embankment, and he gets recaptured as he tries to stumble away, being too dizzy from the ride. But other than that, it's a pretty decent bit of Saturday afternoon hokum. And it's, I mean, as I said, as a kid, I enjoyed these little TV films when they popped up on Superhost or late night TV. 43 always played films they got in their packages several times. They got their money out of it. It would be on Superhost, it would be on late at night, it would show up again during a weekday afternoon movie, you know. Yeah, really fun film. No Oscars for this, but This is also the only one where he has a bunch of kids, which was kind of a staple with these kinds of Japanese superhero films. Both the featureization of Prince of Space and the film Invasion of the Neptune Men both had superheroes who palled around with a lot of kids. But in the other three films, he's more, not as many kid moments, and he's more of a standard superhero, a lot more fights. These films always had these massive fights where he would take on entire armies, especially in Attack from Space, where a good 10-15 minutes of the final section of the film is just him beating people up. That's kind of the charm. Well, that's all I have to say about this little flick. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and stay after the credits for my favorite scene.